For the last 30 years, I've been documenting indigenous people in more than 100 countries on 6 continents. My entire vocation is based on observing, and yet I hadn't seen it. If I don't know, how many other people don't know?
We strolled to the back of the gallery, and there was one photo in particular of these 2 boys who have these giant rocks strapped to their heads. We showed Vivienne this photo, and she just looked at it in this really pure and beautiful way, and she said they should be playing.
I want them to know that it's okay to have fun. It's okay, you can be a kid now. Everything is gonna be okay.
She said, I want to free 500 of these kids. And it was this gigantic, audacious goal, and we're thinking, okay, wow, talk to us about this.
I'll set up my lemonade stand, and they said, honey, that's a lot of lemonade.
And she wants you to make a stand with her for a very special cause.
Yeah, a little girl from the North Bay is fighting against child slavery.
She's making her mark on the world.
I'm Vivienne. I am 9. I have been making a stand for 322 days in a row.
People fall into slavery not because they're willing and not because they're stupid. It's because they've been lied to.
It exists everywhere. Every country is afflicted with slavery.
I thought, how could this be? Wasn't this already taken care of in the 1800s?
Even if you have some trepidation, all your choices are bad. And so you say, okay, and then your child is gone.
With something as simple as a bar of chocolate or a cup of lemonade, you can reach halfway across the world and help a family out of poverty, help a kid stay in school, and help keep hope alive. What we do makes a difference. What we do with our lives makes a difference. That's a blessing, that what we do matters.
Only 9 years old and the youngest speaker we've had here at TEDxFiDiWomen. Let's put our hands together and give a warm welcome to Vivienne Harr. She'll introduce
me. Happy holidays, everyone. I'd like to say a quick hello to some people at Twitter who I know we're watching right now. Hi, Libby. Hi, Gabriel. Hi, Mr. Costello. And yeah, I know I might be small, but I have a big idea. I have a vision where a world where kids aren't just free, but they're free to make a stand themselves. What one person can do is often phrase people ask me, like, what can you do? You're just 9. And I say, well, one person can do as much as 10 people. I mean, Martin Luther King was one person, Mother Teresa was one person. You can be one person. This is the photo that I saw of 2 boys in slavery that made me want to take a stand. And what I'd like to notice about it is that their shoes are too big. The path that they walk down, they could slip like 50 feet and die. And it's just really sad, but no one can take away like their love and their hope. So that's what this photo is. 18 million kids are in slavery today, and it's 18 million too many. What makes someone in slavery is these 3 things. They don't get paid, they're hurt, and they can't leave. And those are the 3 things that define slavery. compassion is not compassion without action. That's a quote that I came up with about the first day, probably. And I think that it describes the whole thing, because I don't have anything else to say. This is part of my children's book that me and my mom are making, and a couple other special people. And this is, the children's book, and this is me thinking about all the reasons why I must, and not thinking of all the reasons why I can't. I didn't know where it would go, but this whole lemonade stand thing would go, but I knew we were facing in the right direction. And day one was we really didn't know what to expect. We had the toothpicks and the cups and the lemons and the mint and everything so wonderful. And yeah. Oh, it says it right there. Okay. All along, we were charging $2 a cup. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Oh my gosh. All along, we were charging $2 a cup until I came up on day 34. I started saying, pay what's in your heart, because if we kept to $2, it would take like a million years. I mean, really. So we started saying, pay what's in your heart. And someone gave $1 and someone gave $120. I mean, yep, pay what's in your heart. My dad really likes this photo because he thinks of it's just me going, and it looks like this little girl, me, can actually do something, and she's looking at you and she's saying that you can do something too. This is day 93 when me and my brother Turner, he's 4, we didn't get a lot of customers and he was a little bit grumpy. So, but then lots of people came and the jug emptied and he was like, okay, that's more like it. Some days I didn't feel great making a stand, and some days I did, but I did it. When I didn't feel great, I did it anyway because Turner would always remind me, Turner, my brother, would always remind me of the children that we're helping, and he would always remind me of that, and that kept me going. This is a quote that me and my aunt liked. I can read it to you. Work for peace, and I say it again, never give up. The Dalai Lama. I like that quote. This is another photo that wanted me to help these kids again, and I thought of it, and it could be me and my brother, and it could be your children or anyone, so I really, Times Square was amazingly cold. Really, I think I almost froze my head off. But we had all these people helping us, and when I got home back to the hotel, my dad told me that we had just reached our goal. While I was out standing in the freezing cold, selling cold lemonade with ice, we reached our goal. And so my parents said, honey, you're done, you did it, you can stop. And I said, is child slavery done? And they said, no, sweetie, it isn't done. And I said, and I'm not done. And I kept on going, and we bottled Make a Stand lemonade. We went to Orlando and Dallas and you name it, and we made a stand. If you can dream it, you can do it. This was ringing the bell at the Twitter IPO. It was amazing and scary and wonderful and really, really, really creepy and scary and creepy. Ooh, yeah, that was, woo! And I didn't even have to say anything. So, yeah. Oopsie daisy. Today we rang the bell for hope and freedom. That's what I said. And as you can see behind me, the sea of millions of people. Before I went on, someone said, Vivienne, you really don't have to worry. There's only 100 million people watching you. And I said, oh my gosh. Sorry, I have bad handwriting, but I wrote this in my journal that I keep for notes and stuff. I can read it to you because it's really bad handwriting. I know us as individuals may seem small and insignificant, but it's not about how small we are. It's about how big we think we can change the world. Well, that's not exactly what it said, but I can really read it, so I have really bad handwriting, gosh. Make a Stand Incorporated is a social purpose company, and our vision, a world where kids aren't just free. They're free to make a stand themselves. I want kids to be free, but free enough to be able to do this. And I just wanted to say thank you ever so much.
Love it.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Huge round of applause for Vivienne. Truly incredible. Well, lucky us, we actually get Vivienne up here on stage for a few more minutes. She's going to be joined by Sarah Abbasi, who is going to ask her a few questions and a short Q&A. Welcome to the stage, Sarah Abbasi. Great job.
Hi, Vivienne. That
Hi,
was
thank you.
fantastic.
Thanks.
You were awesome.
Thank you.
I know everyone here and many people around the world are so inspired by your story, by this incredible movement that you've started to end child slavery, and we want to know who inspires you to reach for the stars.
Well, you know, there's always like heroes and people that are there, like Martin Luther King and Mother Teresa and everyone else. So, but who really empowers me to reach for the stars is my brother, because like I said earlier, he always just lifts me up, and he just reminds me about who we're helping, and I think it's Turner.
That's lovely. That's wonderful. So now you started the lemonade stand in your neighborhood, and as we saw, rain or shine for a year.
Yeah.
And then you got to set up a lemonade stand in Times Square.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Times Square, as I said earlier, really, really freezing cold, and it was scary and hard. I mean, it was probably one of the hardest days, like, ever in the making a stand history of the world. So, but it was one of the best days of my life. And although I was freezing my head off, like literally freezing my head off, I knew that the children who we were helping were freezing on that day, and they didn't have any coats, like I had lots of coats. And so I felt really bad for them, so I kept on going for 2 whole days of freezing cold.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
Now, after selling lemonade at a lemonade stand, you decided to bottle your lemonade. And I love how you spell it lemonade, aid with an A-I-D.
Yeah.
And you've made history in so many ways. You are the first girl in American history to commercially bottle lemonade stand lemonade. What advice would you have for other kids that may want to start a business?
Well, it is really, really hard. I mean, the things you have to go through to get it off the ground are really hard, but you want to follow your heart. Start with your heart. That's what I always say. And it's really empowering of what one little girl can do, or boy, or whomever. And I think that, well, like the quote earlier that I said, if you can dream it, you can do it.
That's very true.
Thank you.
Now, you talked earlier about, you showed a picture of a book that you're working on, right? A children's book that's coming out this month. Can you tell us more about it, or is that sort of a secret and until it comes out?
Well, it is coming out on December. Uh-oh, dear the headlights. December so-and-so. You can ask my mom and dad more about that. I'm not really the book person.
But it's coming out this month.
Yeah, and it has those awesome drawings that were up earlier, and I think that if you guys get a chance to read it, I think you might really like it.
It would be a great Christmas gift.
Yeah.
And I know you have a network show called Kid Mission Possible that's coming out in a couple of months, in February of next year. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I can tell you a little. I don't really know the max about it, but my dad does. And so I'm starting this show where I think it's a surprise.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll let it be a surprise. Let's not spoil that.
True.
So I didn't ask you the most important question. 2 questions. What's in the lemonade, and how does it taste?
Well, it tastes really good, according to my brother. When we were at the lemonade stand, he ate all the raspberries and the mint, of course, and we were like, "Oh, Turner!" He's the official taste tester, so you could ask him maybe later. But I think it tastes really good. And what's in it? Well, now it's more of a commercial version because we have to do it over and over. But when I was making it, it still does, but more of a commercial way. It has agave, water, lemons, and oranges. When I was making it, they changed the recipe a little bit.
Sounds delicious.
Thank you.
Now, earlier we talked about what advice would you give other kids that want to start a business. What advice would you give sort of people in general who feel like they want to make a difference? And it's just sort of one person and they don't quite know how to get started.
Well, like I said earlier, start with your heart and you can do it, and one person can really change the world.
Absolutely, as you've shown us.
Yes.
So, Vivienne, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and for showing each and every one of us that we can make a difference if we just take a stand.
Thank you.
Thank you.